Welcome, witness. We're accessing File 07 from the Stardust Archive. The subject: impossible rain. You look up at the night sky and think about alien life, distant stars, but have you ever stopped to wonder, what's the weather like out there? Let me tell you, it is anything but ordinary. Take a look at this. From a distance, it looks just like home, doesn't it? A brilliant blue marble floating in the black, promising cool oceans and a gentle breeze. It's familiar. But out here, in the deep black, looks aren't just deceiving, they can be deadly. And on this world, that gorgeous blue, it's a lie. All right, let's open the first part of the file, the blue deception. We're looking at exoplanet HD 189733b, and yeah, from this far out, you'd swear it was Earth's twin. But as we zoom in, a much more violent reality starts to come into focus. This is where the beautiful lie falls apart. So let's compare the signatures. Here on Earth, our blue is the signature of liquid water. You know, the very stuff life is built on. But on HD 189733b, that beautiful azure hue, that's the signature of a silicate haze. To put it bluntly, it's glass. This isn't the blueprint for life, it's the blueprint for annihilation. The main weather event here is something we've had to classify in the archive as horizontal glass rain. And yes, it is exactly as horrifying as it sounds. Imagine an atmosphere just saturated with tiny particles of molten glass, whipped into a frenzy by unimaginable winds. And how fast are those winds? The reading is 5,400 miles per hour. Let that number sink in for a moment. 5,400. That is Mach 7, 7 times the speed of sound. It's a number so huge, so violent, our minds can barely even process it. So let's be absolutely clear. This isn't wind. This is a planetary shredder. It is literally firing shards of glass sideways at supersonic speeds. Anything, and I mean anything, caught in that storm would be scoured, stripped down to its basic atoms in less than a second. So when we call it a planetary shredder, that's not poetic license. It's a clinical description. And this, colleague, brings us to the core question of this file. What are we actually looking at here? Is this just chaos? The random, violent result of simple atmospheric chemistry? Or are we witnessing something else, a planetary-scale defense mechanism, a world that has, in effect, weaponized its own weather? The file, for now, remains open. Okay, let's seal that file for a moment. From a world of glass, we now move to a world that functions less like a planet and more like a massive cosmic machine, an iron forge in the sky. Welcome to WASP 76b. So let's break down the blueprints of this system. First, you have the input stage. The day side is a permanent furnace module, running at a steady 2400 degrees Celsius, hot enough to vaporize metals. Step 2, transport. Supersonic winds act as a conveyor belt, carrying that metal vapor to the terminator. Then you get the condensation phase. The night side serves as a giant condenser module, cooling the vapor until it liquefies. And the final output of this planetary engine? Simple. It precipitates molten iron, a never-ending rain of liquid metal. Now you might be thinking, this kind of extreme weather only happens light years away. But you'd be wrong. Some of the weirdest storms you can imagine are happening right here in our own solar system. Let's redirect our focus to the diamond hearts of our neighborhood. Deep in the atmospheres of Uranus and Neptune, you have a unique set of conditions. The key element is abundant carbon. The catalyst? Absolutely extreme atmospheric pressure. We're talking about a pressure so immense, it acts like a cosmic vice. It literally crushes carbon atoms until they crystallize into solid diamonds. The forecast, then, is a perpetual, silent storm of falling jewels, sinking slowly towards the planet's cores. And we don't even have to go that far out to find a weather nightmare. We just have to look next door, Venus. It serves as a chilling warning of how a world can go so wrong. Venus is the permanent greenhouse. A runaway effect has created this crushing, toxic atmosphere, 90 times thicker than ours. And the clouds? They're not water. They're sulfuric acid. This is our sister planet, a vision of paradise turned into a sulfuric hell, just one orbit away. So, we've toured these cosmic hellscapes, worlds raining glass, iron, and acid. And after all that, our investigation brings us right back to where we started, home. We have witnessed the impossible. I mean, really think about it. We've seen rain made of things that shouldn't be rain. We've seen what passes for a normal weather forecast out there in the cosmos. And it's absolutely nothing like what we experience here. And this brings us to the greatest anomaly in the entire Stardust archive, Earth's forecast. What's on our agenda? Liquid rain, gentle snow, cool breezes, a stable, life-sustaining atmosphere. We call it normal. But on a cosmic scale, what we think of as boring weather is the rarest, most precious miracle of all. So think about this. You're holding a glass of water. To us, it's just water. But in the grand scheme of things, it's a universe-spanning treasure, more precious than a planet raining diamonds. So I ask you, witness, do you call it a glass of water, or do you call it a miracle?